hello students and welcome back again in the third lecture of the series on photoperiodism and vernalization. The topic of today's talk is about vernalization, that what is this vernalization and how does the vernalization influences flowering in the case of different plant species. आज का जो टॉपिक ऑफ टॉक है वो है vernalization और किस तरीके से vernalization इन्फ्लुएंस करता है प्लांट्स के अंदर flowering को. That what is this vernalization? How does the vernalization takes place? In what manner the vernalization occurs? And what would be the molecular mechanism behind the vernalization process? Okay, so without revising the things, we would be again moving towards the topic that is vernalization. पहले की सारी चीजें हम लोग पढ़ चुके हैं, तो हम उनके ऊपर आज फोकस नहीं करेंगे. आज हमारा फोकस रहेगा vernalization और vernalization से होने वाले different phenomena की. Okay, so we would be talking about vernalization and the different phenomena associated with vernalization. Okay, so you can see the first slide in front of you about vernalization. So what is this vernalization? How does the vernalization takes place? In what manner the vernalization takes place? So vernalization basically refers to flowering after exposure to cold. So vernalization refers to the phenomena of flowering in which the plant began to flower when they are being provided a cold treatment. It is a reversible process and can be lost as a result of exposure to high temperature. Vernalization एक ऐसा phenomena है जिसमें प्लांट फ्लावर करने लग जाते हैं कोल्ड टेम्परेचर पे. एक प्लांट के सीड को आपने कोल्ड टेम्परेचर पे रखा, वो प्लांट फ्लावर करने लगा. एंड दिस इज अ कंप्लीटली रिवर्सिबल फिनोमेना व्हिच कैन बी लॉस्ट ऑन एक्सपोजर टू हाई टेम्परेचर, बट इट हैज बीन फाउंड दैट दिस फिनोमेना कैन बी मेंटेन्ड थ्रू द टिश्यू कल्चर टेक्निक. इट कैन बी मेंटेन्ड थ्रू tissue culture. Okay, so tissue culture can be used to maintain this particular phenomenon. Now what is this tissue culture? You all know that in the case of tissue culture, what we have to do, we have to take certain somatic cells and then again culture those somatic cells for n number of generations. If you are going to culture those somatic cells for n number of generations, then the genetic material, because of vegetative propagation is going on, will not be altered if the environmental conditions are not altered. Then this technique is referred to as tissue culture technique. देखिए vernalization है क्या? Vernalization एक ऐसा फिनोमेना है जिसमें फ्लावरिंग देखी गई है कई प्लांट्स के अंदर जब उन प्लांट्स को कोल्ड टेम्परेचर पे एक्सपोज किया गया है. It is a completely reversible phenomena, can be lost as a result of exposure to high temperature. That means vernalization is not permanent. Vernalization is reversible and it is a temporary phenomena. It is not a permanent phenomena. It is just a temporary phenomena. It causes molecular changes within the stem apical meristem. I have already told you that when a seed is going to mature, is going to produce the plant species, then there are two things which are being produced from this particular seed. For example, this seed will give rise to plumule and this seed will also give rise to radicle. This plumule has apical meristem. Apical meristem, and this apical meristem can be transformed into floral apical meristem by the induction of genes. Apical meristem ही floral apical meristem में transformed हो जाती है. यही वो apical meristem है जो flower का formation करती है. ठीक है, तो अब इस एपिकल मेरिस्टम में वर्नलाइजेशन से कैसे फ्लावर बनता है, इसका मॉलिक्यूलर मैकेनिज्म क्या है, वो आज के लेक्चर का पहला ऑब्जेक्टिव है जो हमें समझना है. वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द मॉलिक्यूलर मैकेनिज्म बिहाइंड the vernalization and the formation of flower. Initial experimental proof, a bit of history. पहले experiment किसने किए? The first experiments were being performed in Russia, were provided by the Melker, who grafted a vernalized herbane plant to a non-vernalized plant that has never experienced low temperature. He was the first person to produce a graft. Grafting was being performed. किस तरीके से grafting perform की गई? The grafting was being performed by Melker, who took a vernalized herbane plant and grafted it over a non-vernalized plant. Okay, so the cycon was from the vernalized herbane plant and the stalk, the lower part, was from a non-vernalized plant. Cycon जो ऊपर वाला पार्ट था वो vernalized plant से लिया गया और जबकि नीचे वाला पार्ट यानी कि स्टॉक को एक non-vernalized plant से ले लिया गया. The substance diffused from the cycon to the stalk and caused the flowering to take place. अब एक hypothetical substance बोला गया कि जो cycon से stalk में जा रहा है और flowering cause कर रहा है. Because the nature of this hypothetical molecule was not known, so it was referred to as vernalin. So it was referred to as vernalin because its nature was not known. That is why a particular named vernalin was being provided to the chemical substance which would have diffused from a vernalized herbane plant to a non-vernalized plant species. Okay, because of the movement of this chemical was referred to as vernalin. Successive attempts even to isolate this vernalin completely failed, whereas it was also never being concluded whether vernalin is actually a fluorogen or it is something else. Can you all tell me what is a fluorogen? Remember my previous lecture, I have already told you that flowering locus T gene was referred to as the fluorogen, which was being formed as a result of expression of Constance gene. Okay, so Constance gene was forming the FT gene, and FT gene, which was referred to as flowering locus T gene, was referred to as a fluorogen. Okay, I have already told you that in my previous lecture. If you haven't missed it, please go and revise. This is referred to as FT gene. On its precursor is not known. It was Anton Lang who found that gibberellic acid applications to biennial induced flowering without low temperature treatment. So it was Anton Lang who found out that gibberellic acids could act as a signaling molecule and could induce flowering even without low temperature treatment. So he concluded that gibberellic acids could act as a substituent for vernalization. Okay, see why we are again and again talking about vernalization. We are talking about vernalization because we have to form seeds, mature as quickly as we can. हम vernalization के बारे में बार बार क्यों बात कर रहे हैं? हम इसलिए बात कर रहे हैं ताकि हम vernalization के थ्रू सीड्स का फॉर्मेशन समझ सकें और सीड्स के फॉर्मेशन के बाद में उनके अंदर फ्लावरिंग हो. जितनी जल्दी फ्लावरिंग होगी उतना ही प्रोडक्टिविटी किसी भी क्रॉप की बढ़ जाएगी. थ्रू vernalization, if flowering could take place much more faster, then the lifespan of a plant could be reduced, enhancing productivity. So this experiment was the first experiment to prove that there is something present in plant called as vernalin, which is being produced as a result of cold treatment. Cold treatment leads to the production of vernalin. So now what we have to define, now what we have to find, we have to find what is vernalin. हमें पता नहीं था कि vernalin है क्या. वर्नलिन को पता करने के लिए कई सारे इंटरेस्टिंग एक्सपेरिमेंट्स किए गए और कंक्लूजन क्या निकाला गया? मॉलिक्यूलर मैकेनिज्म ऑफ वर्नलाइजेशन. व्हाट इज दिस मॉलिक्यूलर मैकेनिज्म ऑफ वर्नलाइजेशन? किस तरीके से मॉलिक्यूलर मैकेनिज्म होता है वर्नलाइजेशन का, और वर्नलाइजेशन में होता क्या क्या चीजें हैं, ये हमें देखना होगा यहाँ पर. तो वर्नलाइजेशन विच इज अ कोल्ड ट्रीटमेंट एक्टिवेट्स द एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ 3 जीन्स. वर्नलाइजेशन जो कि एक कोल्ड ट्रीटमेंट है, वो 3 जीन्स का एक्टिवेशन कर देता है. इट कॉजेज एक्टिवेशन ऑफ vernalization insensitive 3, vernalization 1 and vernalization 2 genes. Which are the 3 genes? Vernalization insensitive 3, vernalization 1 and vernalization 2 genes. All these 3 genes are going to be activated because of vernalization. Vernalization इन 3 genes को activated करता है, जिनमें सबसे important gene है Win3. The most important gene among all these 3 is the Win3 protein molecule. It is this Win3 protein which is going to regulate the process of vernalization. ये Win3 ही वो प्रोटीन है जो आगे रेगुलेट करने वाला है वर्नलाइजेशन को. Win3 protein causes chromatin remodeling. It causes an epigenetic change in a very important gene that is called as flowering locus C gene. This flowering locus C gene, it is going to cause alteration within the expression of flowering locus C gene through chromatin remodeling, and that is epigenetic changes. These epigenetic changes refers to the addition of methylation at specific residues within the histone proteins. Methylation at histone proteins. Histone proteins. So there is methylation which is going to take place at histone proteins. Now, where methylation is going to take place at histone proteins, in order to changes the expression of the different proteins. So how this is going to take place, that we have to understand. Here you can find there is a methylation in the flowering locus C gene at a position on lysine 4th. There is a methylation. But when this position is going to be altered at lysine 27 or at lysine 49, the flowering locus C gene is going to get inactivated. देखिए, flowering locus C gene inactivate करता है early flowering को, और Win3 प्रोटीन अगर बन जाता है तो वो flowering locus C gene को inactivate कर देता है. और flowering locus C gene को inactivation करने का proof हमें मिलता है because when Win3 protein is activated, it causes the amount of flowering locus C gene mRNA to decrease, inactivating it. ऐसा देखा गया है एक्सपेरिमेंट्स के अंदर. जब Win3 प्रोटीन को ज्यादा एक्टिवेट कर दिया गया तो फ्लॉवरिंग लोकस C जीन का mRNA डिक्रीज हो गया. क्या डिक्रीज हो गया? फ्लॉवरिंग लोकस C जीन का mRNA डिक्रीज हो गया. Once the flowering locus C gene mRNA was being decreased, it was being inactivated when Win3 protein was active. Okay, so Win3 inactivate the FLC mRNA molecule. Still students को confusion हो सकता है इस चीज के अंदर, इसीलिए मैं आपको 2 मिनट आराम से इस बात को समझिए मेरे साथ में कि ये किस तरीके से इनएक्टिवेट कर रहा है और प्रोसेस में क्या क्या चीजें हो रही. Just wait for a second. Look here, what is being shown in the diagram. If you can concentrate here on the following diagram shown to you. Okay, I would be increasing the size of the diagram so that it becomes much more clear to everyone. So what is going to happen in this particular diagram? I'm going to look at this particular diagram only. Please look here. See what is going to happen in the case of autumn or winter season. In autumn or winter season, the flowering is repressed by the flowering locus CG. आप लोगों को ये पता होगा कि फ्लावर कब होते हैं. फ्लावर कब होते हैं? फ्लावरिंग टेक्स प्लेस ड्यूरिंग स्प्रिंग. ठीक है, फ्लावरिंग हमेशा स्प्रिंग सीजन में होती है. अरे आप लोगों ने गाना भी तो सुना होगा, बहारो फूल बरसाओ. बहार कब आती है? दैट इज ऑलवेज टेकिंग प्लेस एट स्प्रिंग. दिस इज in Hindi it is called baharo. Baharo. I have very poor Hindi. Okay, so I'm not going to write it out. Let me just rub it. Now, so this is the season that is called as spring, and this is the autumn season that is present. In the autumn season, the flowering locus C gene has methylation at certain lysine residue. It has a methylation at the 4th lysine residue, and flowering locus gene is active. Okay, but in spring season, what happens? In the spring season, there is methylation at the promoter region of flowering locus C gene, inactivating it. And the same pattern of methylation could be induced through the process of vernalization. देखिए, ऑटम में एक अलग जगह पे वर्नलाइजिंग, ऑटम में एक अलग जगह पे मिथाइलेशन होता है एफएलसी जीन में ही, जो उसे एक्टिवेटेड करता है, जबकि स्प्रिंग में दूसरी जगह पे मिथाइलेशन होता है जो उसे इनएक्टिवेटेड कर देता है. भाई ऑटम में कहां पर मिथाइलेशन है? हिस्टोन प्रोटीन के लाइसिन अमीनो एसिड रेसिड्यू पे H3 हिस्टोन, ऑन H3 हिस्टोन 4th lysine amino acid residue, there is the 3rd carbon which is methylated. Then the FLC is active. Whereas how its inactivation is being achieved? Its inactivation is being achieved when there is methylation at the histone 3rd H3 lysine amino acid residue, that is 27th lysine, and over that lysine on 3rd carbon, when methylation is going to take place, FLC is going to be inactivated. जब हिस्टोन 3rd प्रोटीन के लाइसिन अमीनो एसिड रेसिड्यू पे मिथाइलेशन यदि 4थे लाइसिन पे होता है तो ये एक्टिव रहता है. आरएनए पॉलीमरेज आ चुका है, प्रोटीन बन चुकी है. और अगर यहां पर लाइसिन 27 के ऊपर मिथाइलेशन हो जाता है तो एफएलसी इनएक्टिवेटेड हो जाता है और फ्लावर बन जाता है. सो दिस इज हाउ द फ्लावरिंग टेक्स प्लेस. What I have told you is also written here. Please do read it very sincerely. Prolonged cold period leads to increased pattern of methylation over lysine 9 and lysine 27, resulting in cumulative repression of FLC transcription. When there is methylation taking place at lysine 9 and 27, it will cause cumulative repression of FLC transcription and the induction of a stable epigenetic silencing mechanism in which FLC has been silenced. मैं इसे अगली स्लाइड में फिर बताऊंगा, वेट करें, क्योंकि ये कॉन्सेप्ट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है और मुझे क्लियर करना है. ठीक है, सो जस्ट वेट फॉर अ सेकेंड. इफ यू वुड बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड इट, you would be able to understand vernalization, and it is not very clearly given in any lectures what I have founded over YouTube or any other place. So please do listen it very carefully. This is really very important. See, what does this flowering locus C gene do? ये flowering locus C gene सर करता क्या है, कैसे रोक देता है flowering को? ठीक है, how does this flowering locus C gene inactivates flowering? And you have just told us about the Win3 protein. What about Win1? What about vernalization 1 and vernalization 2 genes? What is their function? See students, vernalization 1 and vernalization 2 genes also represses FLC gene. They are also the one that are going to repress the flowering locus C gene. But their mechanism of action is very, very complex. They involve approximately 10 to 15 protein, and then this VRN2 involved again 20 different proteins. Never asked in any competitive examination. Still, they are under research. So I'm not going into the mechanism of action of VAN1 and VRN2. Okay, so I'm not going into their mechanism of action. Okay, I'm going upon the mechanism of action of Win3 protein, which is going to methylate the promoter sequences such that the flowering locus C gene cannot be expressed. What happens under normal condition? Sir, normal condition में क्या होता है, हमें तो ये समझा दो, हमें ये चीज बाद में समझाना, पहले नॉर्मल का समझते हैं. तो बेटा पहले नॉर्मल का ही समझेंगे, 2 मिनट दें. Under normal conditions, what is going to happen? Under normal conditions, see, FLC encodes a transcription factor. FLC प्रोटीन जो होती है वो एक ट्रांसक्रिप्शन फैक्टर को इनकोड करता है, उसका नाम है बेटा मैट्स बॉक्स. ओके, FLC encodes a transcription factor called as MATS box that is going to repress the FT gene in leaves. अब अगर जिन्होंने कल की क्लास की है और कल का लेक्चर देख के आए हैं, उनके लिए बड़ा आसान हो गया ये. देखिए उनके लिए क्या चीज आसान हो गई. देखिए FLC इनकोड करता है मैट्स बॉक्स को और मैट्स बॉक्स रिप्रेस कर देता है FT जीन को. अगर आपको कल का लेक्चर याद है तो ये FT जीन कहां पर एक्सप्रेस होता था? FT जीन वाज बीइंग एक्सप्रेस्ड इन लीव्स एंड दिस FT जीन देन मूव्स टू द स्टेम phloem where it gets interacted with another gene referred to as flowering D gene. And when it was getting activated with flowering D gene, it was forming a complex with flowering D gene. It was activating leafy and SCO gene, activating flowering. See, in the normal process, what is going to happen? Under normal process, I have told you that FT gene moves and activate the flowering D gene, forms a complex with flowering D gene known as FT-FD complex. This FT-FD complex activates floral meristem identity genes, leafy and SCO1. It is going to activate the leafy gene and the SCO1 gene and will induce flowering. But what happens? FT gene has been inactivated by FLC. देखिए बेटा नॉर्मल प्रोसेस में क्या क्या चीजें होती थी, 1 मिनट देखेंगे सभी लोग सामने. See, in my last lecture, I have made it very clear to you that this is the mechanism of action which is going to take place under normal conditions. So under normal conditions, when the CO gene was being expressed, जब Constance gene express हो जाता था sunlight में, then FT gene was being produced. FT protein was being produced. FT protein forms a complex with the FD protein forming FT-FD complex. This FT-FD complex, what is this? This is referred to as flowering locus T gene. And what is this FD? FD referred to as the flowering D gene. Both these genes complex either activates the A-petila-1 gene directly and the leafy gene indirectly through suppressor of the Constance 1 gene. ये FD-FT complex A-petila-1 और leafy genes को एक्टिवेट कर देता है. ये दोनों ही जीन किसके अंदर आते हैं? ये फ्लोरल मेरिस्टम के अंदर आते हैं और ये आगे चल के फ्लोरल ऑर्गन आइडेंटिटी जीन्स को एक्टिवेट कर देते हैं. अब मेरी बात समझिए, फ्लावरिंग लोकस सी जीन क्या करता है? वो FT प्रोटीन को बनने ही नहीं देता, तो ये पूरा प्रोसेस रुक जाएगा ना, ये पूरा प्रोसेस रोक देता है वो, यही उसका काम है. See this. See this. This is how it is going to function. किस तरीके से फंक्शन करने वाला है वो हम यहां पर देखने वाले हैं. अगर आप इसे ध्यान से देखेंगे, you can find here in SAM, see this. This will result in an activation of the floral meristem identity genes and floral organ identity genes. When FT gene will not be present, then all other genes will be inactivated. एक बार बेटा FT gene नहीं होगा तो बाकी सारे genes का inactivation कर दिया जाएगा. देखिए, ये है stem apical meristem में. In the case of stem apical meristem, FT gene cannot form a complex with the flowering D. Why? Because there is no FT protein. It has been inactivated by FLC. That is referred to as flowering locus C gene. Okay, the FT-FD complex fails to activate the floral meristem identity genes, leafy and SCO1, and thus it is going to inactivate flowering. But when vernalization occurs, the vernalization causes inactivation of FLC gene and causes the activation of FT protein, because there is no one to stop now FT protein. Vernalization FC जीन को बंद कर देता है, FLC जीन को बंद कर देता है, तो अब FT प्रोटीन आजाद है. FT प्रोटीन किसके साथ में चली जाएगी? FD जीन के साथ में चली जाएगी. कॉम्प्लेक्स बन जाएगा, फ्लोरल मेरिस्टम बनेगा और फ्लोरल मेरिस्टम से फ्लावरिंग हो जाएगी. तो यू मस्ट रिमेंबर अ पर्टिकुलर फॉर्मूला. द फॉर्मूला टू बी रिमेंबर्ड इज दैट Win3, VRN1 and VRN2 inactivates FLC. ये तीनों मिलके किसे खत्म कर देते हैं? FLC को, फ्लावरिंग लोकस C जीन को. एंड फ्लावरिंग लोकस C जीन inactivates the FT gene. So what happens when you provide vernalization? It will inactivate FLC. While FLC was inactivating FT, so now what is going to happen? Hence FT activates. FT becomes active. तो कौन सा जीन एक्टिव रह गया? फ्लावरिंग लोकस T जीन हो गया एक्टिव. एक बार ये फ्लावरिंग लोकस T जीन रह गया एक्टिव, ये कर देगा फ्लावरिंग. ओके, सो लेट अस लुक at the precise molecular mechanism through the following diagram. See, what does vernalization do? Vernalization or cold treatment activates the three genes Win3, VRN1 and VRN2. That is vernalization insensitivity 3, vernalization 1 and vernalization 2 genes, inactivating flowering locus C gene. It is going to inactivate the flowering locus C gene. When it would be inactivating this particular gene, this flowering locus C gene is gone. When this flowering locus C gene is going to be gone, it is gone, it is all over. Then this flowering locus C gene, if it is not able to function, it will cause the expression of FT gene will take place. The flowering locus T gene will be expressed. Once the flowering locus T gene is going to be expressed, it will move to the stem phloem and will form an interaction network with flowering D gene, activating the leafy and the suppressor of the constans 1 gene, ultimately activating flower organ identity gene, that is called as class A, B, C, D, E gene. So the basic thing is FLC inactivates FT gene. Okay, FLC inactivate कर देता था FT को. What was FLC? Flowering locus C gene was inactivating flowering T gene. सर ये inactivate क्यों करता था? ये नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. ये inactivate इसलिए करता था बेटा क्योंकि सीड को जर्मिनेट होने के लिए भी तो एक पर्टिकुलर टाइम स्पैन तक ग्रो करना चाहिए, इसलिए inactivate कर देता था. It was inactivating because for the seed to effectively grow, it must require certain period of time. फ्लावरिंग के लिए भी तो एक सीड को टाइम चाहिए होता है. उस सीड को इतना टाइम मिल जाए कि वो फ्लावरिंग एक पर्टिकुलर स्टेज के बाद में करे, इसीलिए एफएलसी उसे इनएक्टिवेट करता था. लेकिन हमने एफएलसी को इनएक्टिवेट कर दिया वर्नलाइजेशन से. एफएलसी का इनएक्टिवेशन किस वजह से हुआ है? द एक्चुअल इनएक्टिवेशन ऑफ द एफएलसी हैज टेकन प्लेस बिकॉज ऑफ chromatin remodulation taking place at lysine 27th position. There is a methyl group on the H3 histone, or on the lysine 9th position there is a methyl group, activating the FT gene expression, causing flowering and inactivating FLC gene expression. ठीक है, this is all over. Sir, one thing I cannot understand. एक और क्वेश्चन मैं आपको बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बता रहा हूं. एफएलसी सर इनएक्टिवेट कैसे करता है फ्लावरिंग लोकस टी जीन? देखो बेटा, यहां पर मैंने एक चीज बताई आपको. फ्लावरिंग लोकस टी जीन, इट इज दिस फ्लावरिंग लोकस टी जीन दैट इनकोड्स अ ट्रांसक्रिप्शन फैक्टर विद इन इटसेल्फ. फ्लावरिंग लोकस टी जीन अपने अंदर एक इनकोड करता है एक ट्रांसक्रिप्शन फैक्टर को. उस ट्रांसक्रिप्शन फैक्टर का नाम क्या है? उस ट्रांसक्रिप्शन फैक्टर का नाम है मैट्स बॉक्स प्रोटीन. Now, what is this MATS box protein and how does this MATS box protein act? ये MATS box protein होती क्या है और MATS box protein किस तरीके से act करती है? In what manner the MATS box protein is going to act and what is this MATS box protein? That we must understand. Now, this MATS box protein that you should know is the following. See, MATS box is actually a transcription factor that will inhibit the transcription of the FT gene. ये एक ऐसा प्रोटीन है जो खुद एक ट्रांसक्रिप्शन फैक्टर है जो इनहिबिट कर देता है ट्रांसक्रिप्शन को FT जीन की. ये ट्रांसक्रिप्शन को इनहिबिट कर देता है. भाई कैसे ट्रांसक्रिप्शन को इनहिबिट कर देता है ये हमें यहां पर देखना होगा. MATS is actually a DNA binding protein. It is a DNA binding protein and this binds to the DNA molecule inactivating the transcription of the FT gene. ये FT जीन के ट्रांसक्रिप्शन को बंद करा देता है क्योंकि FT जीन में भी तो प्रमोटर होता होगा. तो प्रमोटर के ऊपर कौन बाइंड कर लेता है? This MATS domain. MATS domain goes and binds to the promoter. Now the RNA polymerase cannot bind. आरएनए पॉलीमरेज जा सकता है इधर? नहीं जा सकता. आरएनए पॉलीमरेज कैन नॉट बाइंड एंड हेंस द ट्रांसक्रिप्शन ऑफ दिस जीन इज गोइंग टू बी डिक्रीज. इसका ट्रांसक्रिप्शन ऑफ जीन्स क्या हो जाएगा? काफी ज्यादा कम हो जाएगा. द ट्रांसक्रिप्शन ऑफ जीन इज गोइंग टू बी ड्रास्टिकली रिड्यूस. मैट्स स्टैंड्स फॉर MCM1 protein from the budding yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae, A-gammas from the Thalas, Crisa cells of the Arabidopsis thaliana, deficiency from the Snapdragon Arabidopsis majus, and SRF from the human Homo sapiens genes. This is how the MATS domain is made. You can just revise them up that how does the MATS domain protein acts. Next, what happens with this vernalization? Now, this is the comprehensive, this is the summarized mechanism of vernalization that you are visualizing over your screen. Now, in this summarized mechanism of vernalization that you all can visualize over your screen, I have tried to summarize the entire process. So any cold treatment actually activates the 3 genes. Which are the 3 genes? This is vernalization 1 gene, vernalization 2nd gene, and the vernalization insensitive 3 gene. Okay, so the 3rd gene is vernalization insensitive gene, and this vernalization insensitive gene is the one which is working here. This gene inactivates the FLC gene by repressing it epigenetically. Once it is going to repress this particular gene, then the repression of the FT protein will not take place. एक बार vernalization insensitive 3 जीन ने FLC जीन को इनहिबिट कर दिया तो FLC जीन FT प्रोटीन को इनहिबिट नहीं कर पाएगी. FT प्रोटीन इनहिबिट नहीं हो पाएगी तो FT protein remains active, will activate the SOC1, that is suppressor of Constance gene, will activate the leafy protein. The A-petila-1 gene will cause the flowering to take place by the expression of the flower organ identity gene. Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D and Class E gene will be activated, leading to the process of flowering to take place. तो ये फ्लावरिंग का मैकेनिज्म है जिसके थ्रू फ्लावरिंग होती है. ये वो मैकेनिज्म है जिसके थ्रू एक्चुअली में फ्लावरिंग होती है इन द केस ऑफ vernalization. So if you have any doubt still, just text me up or write in the comment box. So now students, let us solve the previous year question paper on the basis of the concept that we have learned. So there is a question from GATE 2016 in which the wheat seeds are being taken. Okay, so there are the wheat seed. Now what is this wheat? Wheat is a long day plant, already told to you in my first lecture. So the batch P of the wheat seed is vernalized before sowing. Batch Q is not vernalized. So Q is not vernalized and P is vernalized. Okay, P को vernalize किया है, Q को vernalize नहीं किया. Then which of the following statement is most likely to be correct? Which of the following statement will be correct? P will have lower VRN, that is vernalization 2 transcript, because P is vernalized. No, a vernalization causes the overexpression of 3 genes, activation of 3 genes, which are those: vernalization 1, vernalization 2, vernalization 1, VRN1, VRN2, and VIN3. Vernalization insensitivity. VIN3. It was VIN3, na? Vernalization insensitivity 3. So vernalization insensitivity 3. All these are positively upregulated. So this statement is wrong because P is going to be vernalized. It will have overexpression of all these 3. Will have lower. P will have lower VRN2 transcript and will flower earlier than Q. P will have a lower VRN2 transcript and will flower earlier than Q. P के अंदर VRN2 कम होगा, but इसके अंदर flowering क्या होगी? Q से पहले होगी. So of course P will flower much more faster than Q. P का flowering जो है वो Q से तो पहले ही होने वाला है. Why it is going to take place before Q? It is going to take place before Q because P has been vernalized. Okay. So let me check this option because it is saying lower. So this could not be correct. Now P will have higher VRN2 transcript. P will have an higher VRN2 transcript because cold treatment is going to cause the overexpression of the VRN2 gene. When P will have higher VNR2 gene and will flower later than Q. No, it is going to always flower earlier than Q. This option cannot be correct. P and Q will have equal VRN2 transcript and will flower at the same time. No, they will not have the same type of transcript. The only answer which is given is that P will be flowering earlier than Q. P का flowering Q से पहले होगा क्योंकि P के अंदर vernalization किया गया था और इसकी वजह से उसके अंदर flowering तेजी से हो गया as compared to the Q. That is why this becomes the most predominant answer as compared to all the others. Next. Wait for a second. Wait for a second. So what we can say here is that although होता हमेशा यह है कि कोल्ड ट्रीटमेंट से VRN2 का एक्सप्रेशन बढ़ता है, लेकिन डायग्राम में इन्होंने यहां पर बताया है कि VNR2 का एक्सप्रेशन कम हो और VRN1 का भी एक्सप्रेशन कम हो रहा है. So we can just postulate that cold treatment is reducing VRN2 and is reducing VRN1. Then how is this flowering take place? Actually, flowering takes place because of the presence of vernalization insensitivity region 3. Okay, this vernalization insensitivity 3 gene is responsible for the flowering to take place. So, if we assume this, then we can say that the VNR2 will remain low, but still the flowering will take place because of overexpression of the VIN3 protein. VNR2 जीन लो रहेंगे लेकिन VIN3 प्रोटीन ओवर एक्सप्रेस होगा और उसकी वजह से फ्लॉवरिंग हो जाएगी. So the next molecular mechanism that we will have to understand is a hormonal based molecular mechanism, and this molecular mechanism is based upon gibberellic acid. अब हम एक नया molecular mechanism यहां पर पढ़ने वाले हैं और जिस mechanism को अभी हम पढ़ने वाले हैं that is referred to as the gibberellic acid mechanism. and how does this gibberellic acid mechanism is going to induce flowering to take place. किस तरीके से gibberellic acid mechanism flowering को करता है, and how does it causes flowering to take place, that we must understand. Okay, so please look forward. See, leafy gene is not expressed after stage 5 of flower development. So up till the stage 4, till the flower has been produced, the leafy gene is going to be expressed. Once the flower has been produced, it will not be expressed. So when a flower is being produced, a small flower is produced. Later on, the maturation of that flower require the presence of another hormone, and that is referred to as gibberellin. देखिए, किसी भी फ्लावर के फर्दर डेवलपमेंट के लिए एक हार्मोन चाहिए होता है, और वो जो हार्मोन चाहिए यहाँ पर है वो जिब्रेलिक एसिड या जिब्रेलिन. ओके, सो flower development, other factors presumably act to maintain their expression. These include the hormone gibberellin. If you can look at the hormone gibberellin action, gibberellic acid deficient mutants which have been recorded, ऐसे plants जिनके अंदर gibberellic acid नहीं होता, they will produce flower. They will be producing flower, but the flower which they produce shows growth arrest and are immature in nature. The flowers will be produced, but a quite small size flower is going to be produced if you are not going to provide the gibberellic acid. The gibberellic acid appears to be an important regulator of homeotic genes. There are controlling genes that causes the flower to mature, and those genes are called as homeotic genes. You can see this is the pattern of flower development. Leafy gene was expressed in floral apical meristem. Floral apical meristem, this gene was expressed and was expressed till the formation of flower. Till the formation of flower has taken place. Formation of a small flower. Of a small flower. Okay. Once the formation of a small flower has taken place, the expression of leafy goes off and flower attain its maturity because of the presence of gibberellic acid. The flower becomes mature. Okay. So if you are not going to provide gibberellic acid, flower will remain small. So gibberellic acid acts as a regulator for the transcription of homeotic genes involved in flower development. Signaling through the gibberellic acid pathway involves interaction of a family of specific proteins called as the DALA protein family. There is a protein family with which this gibberellic acid is going to interact, and that protein family is called as the DALA protein family that act as negative regulator of the gibberellic acid responses. DALA protein gibberellic acid को कंट्रोल करती है. अब ये DALA प्रोटीन क्या है, कहां से आती है DALA प्रोटीन? जब लीफी प्रोटीन का एक्सप्रेशन कम होने लग जाता है, तब एक प्रोटीन का एक्सप्रेशन सेल के अंदर बढ़ जाता है. That is referred to as DALA protein. Okay, mutations in these DALA protein can repress the floral defects of the gibberellic acid mutation. A very important study which was being conducted was that if mutations occurs in the DALA protein, they will repress the defects of the gibberellic acid mutations. If you are going to mutate the DALA protein, the gibberellic acid mutations are going to be suppressed. अगर आपने DALA protein को mutate कर दिया, तो gibberellic acid के mutations suppress हो जाएंगे. ये क्या बोलना चाह रहा हूं और कैसे होता है, इसे समझने के लिए हमें इस डायग्राम को देखना होगा. You should look at this particular diagram about the action of the gibberellic acid and its antagonist DALA protein. There are two conditions given in this diagram. One in which gibberellic acid is present. Here it is absent, and here the gibberellic acid is present. What happens in the presence of the gibberellic acid? In the presence of the gibberellic acid binds to its receptor called as GID 1. This complex is called as gibberellic acid GID complex, GID1 complex. Gibberellic acid GID1 complex. ये एक कॉम्प्लेक्स बन गया है जिसे हम जिब्रेलिक एसिड GID1 कॉम्प्लेक्स कहते हैं. Once this complex has been produced, then through the GID protein, it binds to another protein called as DALA and causes the DALA protein to be degraded by proteasome. ये DALA protein को पकड़ के ले जाता है. It takes the DALA protein and causes its lysis to take place. It causes the DALA protein to be lysed. It is going to degrade the DALA protein. Okay, there is the degradation of the DALA protein with the help of gibberellic acid and GID complex. This will destroy the DALA protein, causing the transcription factors bound to DALA protein to be free. DALA protein का problem क्या है? DALA protein gibberellic acid को काम नहीं करने देती. Gibberellic acid के responsive genes को इनहिबिट करा देती है, क्योंकि जीन्स को एक्टिव करने के लिए जो ट्रांसक्रिप्शन फैक्टर हैं उन्हें डेला प्रोटीन बाइंड कर लेती है. तो मैंने आप लोगों को अभी क्या बताया? मैंने ये बताया कि जिब्रेलिक एसिड होते हुए भी जब जिब्रेलिक एसिड आ जाएगा तब वो डेला प्रोटीन को लेके डिस्ट्रक्ट कर देगा, अपने ट्रांसक्रिप्शन फैक्टर्स को सेपरेट कराएगा. जिब्रेलिक एसिड रिस्पॉन्सिव जीन्स विल बी ऑन एंड फ्लावर विल मैच्योर. Hence, flower mature. Flower will mature. Flower के अंदर maturity आ जाएगी. Flower will mature. When gibberellic acid will not be present, that is, it is absent, the DALA protein will bind to the transcription factors of the gibberellic acid responsive genes, switching off the gibberellic acid. Once the gibberellic acid is switched off, there will be no transcription of genes from the gibberellic acid responsive genes. Hence, flower remains immature. Flower is immature. Please try to memorize this up. Flower is immature if there is no gibberellic acid. Flower become mature if there is a gibberellic acid. फ्लावर इमेच्योर रह जाता है, छोटा रह जाता है, पूरा नहीं बन पाता है अगर जिब्रेलिक एसिड ना हो. जिब्रेलिक एसिड होगा तो फ्लावर पूरा बन पाएगा. कैसे बन पाएगा? डेला प्रोटीन को तोड़ दिया जाएगा बेटा और ट्रांसक्रिप्शन फैक्टर को सेपरेट करके जिब्रेलिक एसिड रिस्पॉन्सिव जीन को एक्टिवेट कर दिया जाएगा. दिस इज हाउ जिब्रेलिक एसिड फंक्शंस. नाउ द एक्सपेरिमेंटल प्रूफ which gave this particular molecular mechanism of gibberellic acid action is from this experiment. Mutation in the DALA genes can repress the floral defect in gibberellic acid mutant flower. अब की बार मैंने क्या किया? मैंने जिब्रेलिक एसिड को म्यूटेंट कर दिया. एक ऐसा फ्लावर बनाया जिसके पास में जिब्रेलिक एसिड था ही नहीं. यानी कि मैंने कौन सा केस ले लिया? Gibberellic acid permanently inactive. The gibberellic acid cannot be produced because I have taken a gibberellic acid mutant plant. Okay. So what I have taken? Gibberellic acid mutant plant has been taken. अगर मैंने gibberellic acid mutant plant को ले लिया है तो gibberellic acid तो बेटा mutant है ही. तो अब डेला प्रोटीन के तो मजे आ गए. ट्रांसक्रिप्शन फैक्टर के साथ में आराम से बाइंड कर रहा है, कभी भी फ्लावर को मैच्योर नहीं होने दे रहा. Flower is always immature, but what was being found here is that, see, mutation in these DALA genes can repress the floral defect and normal flower will be produced. Now the second mutation if occurs in the DALA protein. Okay, so if I am going to perform a mutation in this DALA protein, second mutation, the first mutation has occurred in the case of gibberellic acid mutant plant. Now the DALA protein has been mutated. Then what will happen? Transcription factor will be able to bind, and instead of being off, this will be normal, and the flower, instead of becoming immature, will get transformed into a mature flower. ये mature flower बन जाएगा और यहां पर maturity. Now, please look here. So this is the gibberellic acid pathway. Now see, mutations in the DALA gene can repress the floral defect of the gibberellic acid mutations, suggesting that gibberellic acid response are essential for completing of the floral organ development. All these things have clearly revealed that gibberellic acid is essentially required for floral organ development to take place. Gibberellic acid promotes expression of the class B and C gene and the continued development of floral organs by negatively regulating DALA protein. Gibberellic acid is going to negatively regulate the protein that is referred to as the DALA protein. Gibberellic acid negatively regulated करता है एक प्रोटीन को that is referred to as DALA protein. Okay, next. इसके आगे देखते हैं. This is the pathway, and in this particular pathway I have tried to told you that when gibberellic acid is going to be absent, in the case when gibberellic acid is going to be absent, then the gibberellic acid responsive genes will be off. When the gibberellic acid is present, then the gibberellic acid responsive genes are going to be functional and a mature flower is going to be produced. Now comes the questions in front of you. The questions which have been asked, instead of making you do all the questions, I have summarized the questions accordingly. You can look here at the previous year questions. Now the previous year questions. First question, what will happen if the gibberellic acid mutants are going to be produced? The answer is flower will be immature and sterile. Okay. The flower will be immature and sterile if the gibberellic acid mutants are there. DALA negative mutant, the flower will be normal. देखिए, अगर मैंने gibberellic acid के mutant को ले लिया, तो gibberellic acid तो कभी आएगा ही नहीं, तो इसलिए flower immature बनेगा. In the case DALA negative mutants are taken, in the case when there is no DALA protein, now supposingly there is no DALA protein, there is no DALA protein at all. If there is no DALA protein at all, then the transcription factor will continue to transcribe and gibberellic acid response will be produced. So this will become constitutively active. Constitutively active मतलब हमेशा हमेशा के लिए active. Repression होगा ही नहीं. Okay. Constitutively express the gibberellic acid molecule. This is how constitutive expression of the gibberellic acid molecule will take place. What will happen if gibberellic acid is also absent and DALA mutant is also absent? Now, when gibberellic acid is also absent, but DALA protein is also absent. So, DALA protein absence means there will be an expression of the genes will take place. The flower will be normal. Why? A mutation in DALA will cause upregulation of gibberellic acid responses. When a mutant DALA will be there, when a mutant DALA will be there, there is no DALA, it will again cause the activation to take place whether or not the gibberellic acid is present or not. Gibberellic acid हो या ना हो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला. Next, both gibberellic acid as well as DALA protein are present. अगर gibberellic acid भी है और DALA protein भी है, तब regulation of flowering में क्या होगा? It will become inducible with respect to gibberellic acid. If gibberellic acid is present, flowering will take place. If gibberellic acid is absent, flowering will not take place. Gibberellic acid present, but DALA protein is absent. Gibberellic acid है लेकिन DALA protein नहीं है. Then what is going to happen? Then the flower will be of the normal type, okay, because of expression of the genes which is taking place. Gibberellic acid is absent and DALA protein will present. The flower will become immature and sterile. So these are all the previous year questions which have been asked. The most favorite ones are always the double mutants in the case of CSIR and another competitive examination as compared to the single mutants. Now, so this is all about the gibberellic acid mechanism for control of flowering. The next is about senescence. Now, what happens in the case of senescence? How does the plant recognize its aging to take place? So the plant recognizes its aging to take place with the help of certain other genes. And those genes are flowering control locus aging. See, I have already told you that it was the flowering locus C gene which was suppressing flowering. But once the plant has been aged, एक बार plant का age हो गया है, then towards the end of its age, it will activate certain other types of genes. And those genes are flowering control locus A, flowering locus K, flowering locus D, and luminidependence gene. Okay, and all these 3 or 4 genes will combinedly inhibit the flowering locus C gene. As the C gene will be inhibited, so suppression of Constance gene 1 is going to be activated, activating the process of flowering, and ultimately the plant will produce flower, and this flower will produce seed and the plant will die off. देखिए जब प्लांट का एजिंग हो जाता है तो प्लांट का काम क्या है? प्लांट की डेथ होने वाली है, तो प्लांट ये चाहता है कि उसका सीड बन जाए और फिर उसकी चाहे मौत हो जाए, तो वो कुछ जीन्स को एक्टिवेट कर देता है. दैट इज रेफर्ड टू एज FCA, FLK, एंड दिस इज फ्लावरिंग लोकस A, फ्लावरिंग लोकस K, flowering locus D, and luminidependence gene. They inhibit flowering locus C gene, which inhibits the SOC gene, that is suppression of the Constance 1 gene. Under normal process, FLC was inactivating it out, but now when the FLC has been inactivated, normal process के अंदर flowering locus C gene suppression of Constance gene को inactivate कर रहा था, लेकिन यहां पर हमने क्या किया है? यहां पर हमने फ्लावरिंग लोकस C जीन को ही इनएक्टिवेट कर दिया है. Once we have inactivated the flowering locus C gene, then what has happened? Then it has been inactivated and the SOC, suppression of the Constance gene 1, has been activated. Activates flowering through leafy and apetala 1, ultimately will lead to the formation of flower, and this will produce seed. ये फ्लावर बनाएगा और फ्लावर के बाद में अल्टीमेटली क्या बन जाएगा बेटा? सीड बन जाएगा. अल्टीमेटली इट विल लीड टू फॉर्मेशन ऑफ सीड. तो ये अल्टीमेटली सीड को बना देता है, और इस सीड के बनने के बाद में इस प्लांट की इफेक्टिवली डेथ हो सकती है, ताकि इस प्लांट की डेथ हो भी जाने पे भी इसने अपने सीड्स काफी ज्यादा नंबर में बना दिए हैं, क्योंकि ये लास्ट बार फ्लावरिंग कर रहा था. सो दिस इज एन ऑटोनोमस पाथवे. दिस इज नॉट इंड्यूस्ड बाय एनी सोलर रेडिएशन or by changes within the temperature of the environment. So this is an autonomous pathway. This pathway operates within the plant itself. Plant खुद इस pathway को कराता है, बाहर से नहीं हो रहा है. प्लांट की एजिंग की वजह से हो रहा है. प्लांट के अंदर चलने वाली मॉलिक्यूलर क्लॉक की वजह से ये पाथवे हो रहा है, and that is why this pathway is referred to as internal molecular clock pathway or the autonomous path. So now, with the autonomous pathway being over, let us summarize all whatever we have learned up till now in Arabidopsis thaliana flower development. So this is the simplest flower of the Arabidopsis thaliana, and this is the simplest pathway of Arabidopsis thaliana that we have seen. So we have to conclude here that the internal clock and the photoperiodism was responsible for the activation of CO gene, the Constance gene, the FT gene, flowering locus T gene. The FT gene was forming the FT protein, which moves to the stem apical meristem, enters into the nucleus, leads to the formation of a complex with the flowering D gene, and that will activate the suppressor of Constance 1 gene, transforming and activating leafy and apetala 1 gene, causing the floral organ identity gene class A, B, C, D and E genes to be activated, forming flower. ये इन सारे जीन्स को एक्टिवेट कर देगा और ये फ्लावर को बना देंगे. अगर मैं दूसरा मैकेनिज्म के बारे में बात करूं तो कोल्ड ट्रीटमेंट also referred to as vernalization activates VRN1, VRN2, VIN3. It promotes FLC expression. It inhibits FLC expression. Sorry. It is going to inhibit the FLC expression. It is not promoting it out. It is inhibiting it out. Inhibits FLC expression. When the FLC expression is going to be inhibited, then SOC gene, that is referred to as suppressor of the constans gene, was being inhibited by FLC gene. It becomes active. As it becomes active, it induces flowering. जब कोल्ड ट्रीटमेंट करते हैं तो इनहिबिशन हो जाता है FLC जीन्स का. FLC जीन्स का इनहिबिशन होने पे सप्रेसर ऑफ कांस्टेंट जीन का एक्टिवेशन हो जाता है, फ्लावरिंग हो जाती है. द नेक्स्ट मैकेनिज्म इज जिब्रेलिक एसिड पाथवे, which involves yet another gene called as Frigidilla gene. In the case of gibberellic acid pathway, the DELA proteins controls the gibberellic acid movement to take place. Ultimately, when gibberellic acid is present, it activates suppressor of the constans 1 gene and induces flowering. And the last pathway was the autonomous pathway. It is an age-dependent pathway in which the genes FCA1, flowering locus A gene, flowering locus K gene, flowering locus D gene, luminary dependence gene inhibits the action of FLC gene, causing the flowering to take place. So this will form the summary of the entire process of flowering in the case of Arabidopsis thaliana. Any doubt, any problem, you can now. So with this, we have moved towards the conclusion of the flowering that is going to take place in the case of Arabidopsis thaliana. So we have concluded it out. And next topic, we would be starting from our next lecture. Okay. So that's all for today. Hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Please do write your comments or your queries to me so that I can answer them. Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.